Hi guys, how are you doing today? Ready for some drama I have for you today? Let's go to the first story about OP's sister, who says OP can't marry her husband because his name is common to her ex-husband's. Enjoy the stories, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. This is a ridiculous issue to have, which is why I'm coming to you guys for advice. My sister Rebecca is a year and a half older than I am, and we have never been as close as I would like. We grew up together and have many similar interests, but she had a sibling rivalry issue with me for whatever reason. I was never allowed to like any of the same bands as Rebecca, wasn't allowed to like the same anime, etc. When Rebecca was 19, she started dating a man named Jonathan. They didn't think to use protection, and she quickly became pregnant. They got married before the baby was born and had another planned child soon after. Since they had kids so young, neither of them has had an opportunity to go to school and get a degree. They both moved out of state, and I rarely speak to my sister outside of text messages or Facebook. Last year, Rebecca and Jonathan went through a nasty divorce after Jonathan decided that he no longer wanted to be a father. Rebecca and the kids are now living with her in-laws because she can't afford to live on her own. Jonathan has so far been running and trying to dodge his child support payments. While Rebecca and Jonathan were off living married life with kids and getting divorced, I went to college, graduated with a degree, and got a good job for myself. Since graduating, I have now been working for my company for 3 years and am in the process of getting my master's degree. I dated several men off and on over the years, but have finally decided that my current boyfriend, John, is the man I want to marry. We met at work, and he is everything I could ask for in a life partner. He is kind, caring, has a good career, and he loves me with all his heart. The problem is, my sister is not reacting in a good way towards my engagement. When I told her that I was marrying John, she came at me with, "Are you seriously going to marry a man with the same name as my ex-husband? What are you playing at?" I didn't have a response for her since, the name Jonathan is one of the most common in the country and has been for centuries. Plus, our grandfather was named John, and so is our uncle, and so are 4 of our cousins. We aren't suffering from a lack of Johns in our family. And they're 2 different names anyway, because her ex-husband was named Jonathan, and my fiancé is John, with the H and no Athun at the end. Like I said, I didn't respond to her because I didn't have a response to give her that wasn't instantly relationship ending. Since our little chat, Rebecca has gone around making snide and rude comments about me trying to upstage her. Apparently, I'm rubbing my successful life in her face by marrying a better John than she did. So, I come to you all for advice. What's the best way to handle this situation while minimizing the drama? I won't hesitate to cut my sister out of the wedding, but it's going to be impossible to stop her from running her mouth to everyone we know. OP's sister is way out of bounds. OP should smile, nod politely, steer conversation toward... I'm at my wit's end, and I don't know what to do to comfort my sister. My sister has 3 children, 2 boys, 10 and 5, and her daughter, 6. My daughter and niece have a great relationship, like sisters. They love to play and get into mischief together, play dress-up, draw pictures, all those little kid things. I had a great relationship with my sister growing up, and I'm so happy that she has a close family member, since she is an only child. My sister was always more attractive than me growing up. However, I ugly ducklinged and got considerably more attractive in my early 20s after being an awkward teenager and a late bloomer. I managed to snag a Norwegian man who treats me awesomely and is my partner in crime. We have a great relationship. My sister married a tall, dark, and handsome man from Venezuela, who is sheepish, shy, but very kind to her young family. We are both in good marriages and live fairly close to each other. I don't know how to say this without sounding incredibly conceited. My daughter is objectively gorgeous. She has red hair and pale green eyes, and a lovely, elegant face and bone structure. She has already been model scouted at 7, multiple times when she and I are out shopping. Strangers will regularly comment at her appearance, and I often don't know how to handle the attention she gets. I have fertility issues and was told I'll never be pregnant. So having a child in the first place was a miracle for my husband and I. Lately, my sister has been making rude, backhanded comments towards my daughter. When my husband, sister, brother-in-law were all preparing to have a barbecue out in my sister's backyard, all her kids were given an age-appropriate task to help out, setting the table, bringing out the condiments, etc. And my daughter was skipped. She was eager to help out and asked what she should do. My sister snapped, "Just stand around and look pretty." I was stunned. These are not the values my husband and I are trying to instill in our child, who has no idea that she looks different than most people. I quickly chimed in and told her to find rocks to weigh down the tablecloth, but was too shocked to confront my sister about it. Later that night, my husband brought it up and we had a discussion about it and agreed that her tone was bitter and hostile, but we wouldn't bring it up because she might just be having a bad day. She, my sister, came home from her aunt's house last week visibly upset. When I asked what's wrong, she told me that Auntie B had told her she can't be a veterinarian and she should be a cheerleader instead. Now, I have no idea where this came from because although my daughter does ballet, she has never cheerled or shown any interest in cheerleading in her life. She was genuinely upset by this. She loves animals, so after talking to her and telling her she could be a vet if she wanted, I called my sister and asked her what's up. She was incredibly defensive, saying that she can't let her gifts go to waste in regards to my daughter's face. I told her that it was cruel to tell a little girl that she can't do something as an occupation and asked her not to do something like that again. I thought that would be the end of it, but it happened again. Again, at my sister's house, she made cookies and milk for the kids, but didn't allow my daughter to have any, and instead gave her some crackers and water instead. I heard about this after the fact from my daughter, who felt sad that she couldn't enjoy the treats with her cousins. When I confronted my sister about it, she said there wasn't enough for everyone. I called her out on that BS. If there are little kids around, you make sure everyone shares. She backpedaled and said that it was a good thing anyway, and that she should get used to it if she wants to model. I have explained to her many times that it was my husband's and my decision not to let her model, and to let her be a kid. My sister keeps pushing the issue, saying that we are missing an opportunity. This happened yesterday. She also is harsh on her own daughter, who is half Hispanic and has darker features than my daughter. She doesn't let her play outside for too long, because she doesn't want her to be too tan. She refuses to let my niece pick out her own clothes. My sister signed my niece up for a ballet class with my daughter, but my niece hated it and wanted to do some type of sports activity instead. Well, my sister vehemently refused and asked her why she can't be more ladylike like daughter. I have no idea what to do or how to confront this. My daughter is just not a beautiful face. She is an incredibly intelligent, fiercely curious, and kind little girl. I don't want her to grow up thinking she has to rely on looks for anything, or have no ambitions beyond her appearance. I don't want her to feel that her looks hold her back or trap her, and I fear that hanging out with my own sister will make her more self-conscious. On the other hand, she has a beautiful relationship with her cousin, and I don't want that to go away. She would be devastated and lonely because she has no sibling of her own. I also worry for my niece's emotional well-being, because her mom harshly judges her 6-year-old appearance, and I don't want her to grow up feeling inferior in any way because of her mixed heritage. OP's sister has insecurity issues and is jealous of OP's daughter. Obviously, she wishes her daughter was more like OP's. That's her problem, and the way OP can help her is to talk to her about stopping the comparisons she is making in her head. She probably has anxiety, and this is one of her hang-ups that keeps her awake at night. Before cutting contact, I would have a heart-to-heart talk with her. OP needs to have a long discussion about not comparing the girls and start building up her daughter. Whatever it is that her daughter excels at, vocally make a big deal about it. This is as much about her relationship with her daughter as it is her relationship with OP's daughter. Once she stops comparing and appreciates her daughter, she'll stop. I just need advice from people who do not know me, as I cannot discuss with family or friends that know the individual. My soon-to-be mother-in-law called me this morning to inform me that my soon-to-be sister-in-law called her and told her she is 5 to 6 weeks pregnant. So she thinks, and that she's planning to announce it at our rehearsal dinner. She told mother-in-law not to tell anybody else, that they want to blindside us and surprise everyone all together. Thankfully, my mother-in-law likes me enough to warn me ahead of time with this information. But now I am not sure what to do with it. Now for some background. We are having a under 40 guest wedding. Everyone is included in the rehearsal dinner, including our friends and my own family. Since we are having such a small wedding, I have my 3 soon-to-be sister-in-laws as my bridesmaids. The pregnant sister-in-law has been a thorn in my side. She hated the dress color I wanted. She hated the shoes I suggested. She's mad because I'm taking away from a weekend off. I have tried to be gracious in all of this and pick and choose my battles. She also screamed at me one day that I was taking too much attention for the wedding away from her weekend of seeing family she doesn't see often, but doesn't make a point to go see them. She also was mad when we had our daughter 3 years ago because we had the first grandbaby, great-grandbaby. So there is a long list of things I've done to apparently victimize her specifically, and at this point, I'm just worn down. I feel as though I should either say something directly to my mother-in-law to say something to her, or do I go to her directly? I think she sees her peeing on a stick as an opportunity to upstage our entire wedding and bring the attention back to her. This is her first pregnancy, and previously when discussing babies with them, I was informed she didn't want to start trying until fall 2021. So I imagine this is somewhat of an oops, guess we're doing this sooner. When we had our daughter, we waited until I was 15 weeks to announce anything, so I'm not sure why she feels the need to do it at 5 to 6 weeks. We're also all staying after the wedding to go to a resort for 4 days with the entire family that she could use as an opportunity to tell them. What would you do in this situation? Do I say something directly to her? Do I just let her make her announcement? She most definitely should not use OP's special time to announce her baby. I know there's also a certain time frame during which the pregnant person probably shouldn't publicly announce it, due to risk of losing the baby. I would definitely have the mother-in-law advise her it's in bad form to do it at the rehearsal dinner. My sister was a nightmare bridezilla. She got married a year ago, and everything building to her wedding, including her wedding day. It all started 2 years ago when she appointed her maids of honor and left me out, which hurt like a burnt butthole, but I let it go because it was her day. The maid of honor she appointed was in another city, so she asked me to plan the engagement party. I did because she was still my sister. I planned it. She wanted like a fairy tale themed thing. I gave her the plan, and she wasn't happy because it looked too cheap. I told her I was on a budget and I did my best. She said that if I upped the fanciness, she would pay for half, and to just write up everything in an Excel sheet. So I did. Formally, I would have been only spending $200, but after upping it and checking multiple times with her, it came to a grand total of $1.3K. The worst part is that she spent the whole party criticizing the DJ. The aperitifs, everything was too bad. She said it was a train wreck. People were enjoying themselves, and even her fiancé was happy. My mom ended up reimbursing me months later, and she refused to talk to me for 2 months. She then threw the bachelorette party. We went to Mallorca. The plan was to go to the Party Mile and go to the male strip club they have there. Then go back to the hotel and drink at the hotel bar and play some drinking games. Well, it was a ducking mess. My sister had a proper meltdown because a bridesmaid had on a dress that was more expensive than hers. She threw a glass of white wine on her and screeched. Of course, that bridesmaid noped the duck out, and we tried to make the evening better, but the atmosphere was damaged. My sister literally said to me, "I guess I have no options but to replace my bridesmaid with you." I did it because my parents begged me to. She had me stand in the back and everything, because my boobs were upstaging her. At her wedding, she was no better. She screamed at the florist because the sunflowers were not yellow enough. She screamed at her makeup artist because he didn't put extra glitter on her already loaded eyelid. She had another fit at her wedding because her wedding cake wasn't delicious enough. She threw the whole thing at the ground. She had a fight with her maid of honor because she told my sister to calm down and then slapped the maid of honor. She pulled a waiter by the collar to scream at him because he brought her mother-in-law the wrong drink. It was a mess. After the wedding, she texted in the group chat that we ruined her wedding. Well, to say the least, she lost every friend she had, and the woman literally couldn't figure out why. After her honeymoon, she texted me and said she forgave me and that we should meet up for coffee. I told her I didn't want to talk. She blew up. 1 year later, she came to my parents' place and cried me a river about how she regrets how she was behaving, about how she didn't know why she did what she did, and that she misses me. I was really taken aback and left. I don't know if I want her back, especially now that I am getting married myself. I am scared she is going to pull something at my wedding. What a nightmare. If OP decides to let her back in, I would recommend that she does it after her own wedding. OP can say she is too occupied right now with her wedding, and seeing as how she acted at hers, it's best for her to step back. If her true intention is to have a relationship with OP again, not just to attend OP's wedding, then the two can have brunch after OP is back from her honeymoon. If she makes a big fuss about it, then she clearly is in it for herself, not just to have a sister back.